What's going on, guys? Lane here with Broke Bets. Also got my co-host with me, Carson.
What's up?
Yeah, dude, here in Rio, Brazil card, coming off of the Nicolau and Perez card, a nice just one unit night, but I think we did better than a lot of people did in terms of betting. So nice little wins there. Coming in this card, we got 5 bets for you guys. Let's kick it off. Started off. I got Kevin Boras. Um, I just like him. I got him at a nice line because he's dipped down to like plus 110 now. I like his speed. I just like the price on him. I think this is gonna be a close fight, and I had to lay down the cheddar on it. I know you were on the Alexandre Costa side. I don't know if you're gonna go against me with that bet during fight time, but we'll see.
No, not betting on that fight, but yeah, I think it'll be a close fight either way. I just thought Costa would mix in some grappling and his leg kicks would be doing some damage. But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it
well,
should be a good fight. Borjas has really good boxing and throws pretty good volume as well. Works the body too, so yeah, it should be a close fight.
right. And yeah, I see a close fight. I see speed advantage in a big cage, and I like that for Borja. So that's my angle on the fight. I think he's just going to touch and move and do his thing, per se. Next bet Elvis Brener as a fairly big dog. I mean, like we said in our breakdown video, I think Orleby looks phenomenal as a fighter, but Elvis Brener, very good on the ground, training partner with Charles Oliveira. In terms of the stand up, I do think actually Orleby does look sharper in terms of his jab and the power in his right hand, but Brenner's been in these dog fights and he can mix up the style on the feet to win. And he faced a very technical guy in Garam and he survived all the punishment and kept fighting and won. So this is a hard fight to predict, and I think the odds are just completely shifted too far in Orleby's favor. I'd see this more as a pick'em type of fight. So you're getting a great price on Brenner here, and hopefully he cashes as a big dog. So
Yeah, Brenner's a savage. Um, two fights ago against Grum, I mean, he took some damage, but he won a lot of those minutes. In that first round, he's winning until like 30 seconds left in that round. It got cut up, and then lost that round, but was able to fight through it, come back, and wear out Grum and eventually finish him. He's a dog, and he's gonna fight for your money here. And at plus 205, I think that's good value.
great takedown defense. Had the experience here in the stand up, and underrated knockout as well. Even his last knockout, I know he was facing a guy on short notice, but talked about a weird flatline face down KO. Very impressive. So curious how this one. Also, Orleby got kind of touched up right away when he fought Medic. Not that it's a bad thing because Medic is a good striker, but you know, who knows what happens with a little bit more time on the feet. Prop bets got Joaquim Silva and Drakkar Close under 2.5 rounds. I just feel like Close puts on such a pace in these fights, and you look at his resume, and he's going to decision with a lot of people, but he's also dealing with a lot of really tough fighters like Rafa Garcia, Bobby Green. I mean, that was a while ago, given Lando Venata. I'd say the only one that he couldn't finish that I think he should have was Christos Giagos, but for the most part, he's putting a pace on people from the second the fight starts. And Joaquim Silva has been knocked out 3 times in the UFC, I believe, and then losing only to end up 4 decisions in his career. I feel like both these guys just go at it, and there's a good chance even Silva could find his big punch. He can hit hard, so I really like this under.
Yeah, Silva can finish and get finished as well. He's like you said, knocked out 3 times before. Close. One of his two losses are by finish. So, um, yeah, they're going to be going after each other with that crowd too. In Brazil. Yeah,
Right. And yeah, Close been hurt before, and I feel like that could easily happen again. So Next, a very underrated. I think this is going to be an easier bet than people think. Anthony Smith, Vitor Petrino, over 1.5 rounds. I believe Vitor Petrino has been over 1.5 rounds in every single fight. The Modestus Bukauskas one would have been close because I think that was a second round knockout. Um, but then Anthony
Yeah,
Smith.
it was a minute into the second round.
Okay, well, yeah, then one time he's beat that mark. For a light heavyweight, kind of shocking. Anthony Smith, who's been fighting like a bitch, which helps the over 1.5 because if he gets hurt, he might just cover up a little bit, try to survive, or he'll just sit out of range and not really deal with the risk of actually being knocked out. So I think you looked at Anthony Smith; he's gone over 1.5 rounds 4 times in a row, and three of which were against like Johnny Walker, Ryan Spann, and Khalil Roundtree Jr. And those are guys who all get, for the most part, early finishes. So I think that this holds up here.
Yeah, he'll be playing it safe, I would imagine. Petrino's been, I wouldn't say patient, but more patient than he was in the regional scene, and then against Bellato in the contender series where he just went after him straight
Right.
away. And he can mix in some grappling too, which will stall and waste some minutes as well. So, yeah, both these guys are tough, and I think over 1.5 is pretty good.
Uh huh. And then for the final play, the parlay, folks, I did not expect people to be betting on Steve Erceg as much as they are. I mean, if you look at this fight, Pantoja was a bigger favorite against Brandon Royval, which seems pretty crazy to me, than he is against Steve Erceg. And I do think Steve Erceg is pretty good, but just with the information you're given, I feel like Pantoja would be a lot bigger of a favorite. Um, Bonfim, do I even have to really even say much there? He's just going to be the better younger fighter. But yeah, I placed this one like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I thought Pantoja would just rise up to that 300 mark because of his grappling ability to take the back and stuff like that. And I guess people started to bet the Erceg side. Kind of surprised me there.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
Pantoja, good grappling, better experience, better competition. Erceg coming off a fight against Matt Schnell. Um, it's
Who's
Matt
everyone's
Schnell,
beat? Everyone's knocked him out. So
right? I lost around against Alexandre Costa, got knocked down in that fight. Lost around against David Dvorak, and probably would have lost 2 rounds if Dvorak didn't gas out and get knocked down in that late in that second round. So, yeah, I just don't think we know enough about Erceg and what he's done against better competition. So.
and not to mention, even in that Alessandro Costa fight with Steve Erceg had to push him up against the cage in the whole round 3 just to stall the fight to make it to the decision and win, on a boring third round. So who knows if that fight goes back to range, what kind of things happen. But yeah, these are the bets. I got Elvis Brener by knockout at plus 1,000. I think that's just a sneaky line. I feel like it's gonna be a good amount of stand up in that fight. Because Brener can keep it on the feet. And then yeah, I mean I might do Brito KO round 1, although I think he could pull a guillotine because Jack Shore might be forced into shooting a takedown. Um, what other things do you have your eyes on for bets?
Nothing too much. Nothing too much. Lucindo, I like her, but that line is just way too wide.
Roofy, any
Yeah,
thoughts?
Roofy by finish probably. I don't know what that line's at, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, other than
But
that, I
yeah,
mean,
I do like Roofy.
I do like Pantoja too, just maybe a round 1 or 2 submission. I think that's another good option. Just when they're dry, back takes, stuff like that. So, other than that, guys, keep the winning streak going. And anything else from you?
Nope.
Peace.
Peace.